Hi, I'm Daniel Licus, and welcome to Book 101 Review. Book 101 is all about the books that I read for the last 40 years. And today I have my special guest. He's Executive Recalibration for Authentic Leadership, no other than Mr. Anil Erkan. Welcome, Mr. Anil on Book 101 Review. And can you please introduce more about yourself that I miss?
Yes, thank you, Daniel. So I'm a leadership coach. I have been coaching for over, I think, 7-8 years now. I have over 2,500 hours of leadership coaching. My actually background is from accounting and finance, and then I transitioned into risk management and internal controls and all that, and I finished as a risk management executive. I have held board membership roles as well, and now I try to help leaders along their journey. Yes, that's me.
Yes, Mr. Anil Erkan. Thank you so much for sharing your knowledge and wisdom to the world. And today, let's talk about the grounded leadership, navigating uncertainty from the inside out, of course. So tell us, in a storm, grounded anchor provides stability. What is the internal anchor for a leader facing uncertainty, and how they cultivate it when everything is shifting?
Yes. So to become grounded, we have to be firstly self-aware of what is happening within us. Because when something happens, initially we react. We react from a place of loss or fear or regret. Maybe there will be a loss. So fear and emotions start to flood in. And so if we can be aware of them, and then we can have the power to park them to make the decisions we need to make. If we get engulfed by these emotions and taken over by them, then the decisions we make can sometimes be risky, or we might just make the wrong decision. If we are self-aware and we are grounded, the probability of going in the right direction is higher. It doesn't guarantee 100%, of course, but it does help a lot.
It helps a lot for sure. And we often equate grounded with being calm. How is grounded leadership different from simply maintaining composure? What active internal work is happening beneath the surface?
Yeah, so grounded actually means there's a couple of ways to maybe talk about it, but when we are grounded, we are not just self-aware of ourselves. We are also aware externally of what is going on around us. So it's it's not just about us anymore. It's about the ecosystem that I am in, the people that I am related to, and the whole audience of whoever I am leading or whoever I am with. So in order to be grounded, I need to take all of this in. And composure means there is still friction. There is still certain resistance, and I am in against that resistance or stress. I am holding it there. Whereas grounded is just accepting of what is going on, and so it's more accepting of the situation and what it might bring, good or bad. But composure, there is a resistance element to it. So we are being somebody else when we are composed in that sense.
And your emphasis, or you emphasize leading from the inside out. What does it mean practically? How does
Yeah.
leaders' internal lead directly influence their team's ability to navigate chaos?
Yes.
Mr. Anil.
So I will try to explain from first a little bit of the high level and then bring it down to real life examples. So many growth minded senior leaders, they feel stuck between who they are and who they want to become. So this creates a friction. So when, let's say, uh, let me give an example like this. Let's say somebody is promoted to a higher, very, higher role. They become executive committee member. Suddenly, they don't know what to do. Should they talk in meetings? Should they not talk in meetings? If there is an idea that they are opposed against, should they oppose it? Should they, like, what would they do? And why does this happen? It's because they have worked very hard to come to that level and they don't want to make a mistake. So they are actually trying to control the narrative. But if they are themselves and if they are aware of these fears, if they need to oppose, they will oppose. If they need to say their opinion, of course they will still say their opinion. Now, this might sound a bit diehard, or they will just act like whoever they are. Yes, corporate policies or internal organizations are complicated, but of course, when you are aware, as I was mentioning, externally as well, then you will obviously adjust your opposition reply accordingly because you are aware if it will unintentionally hurt someone or be misunderstood. So you are still not giving up who you are, but still conveying your opinion, your way of looking at things, your angle on it. And with this, your stress levels and you as who you are becomes more embedded, more grounded into you. I can also give an example from teams. When you are managing a team, we generally leaders want the team to function a certain way to reach the goals. But the team has a special dynamic. There might be different types of people that we have there. Your external awareness combined with your inner awareness will tell you that, okay, this team will optimally function like that. So maybe ideally, I cannot turn this team into something that I ideally want, which is my personal aspiration. I have to let go of that and say, what is the most optimum way this team can work? Okay, it will work in another way. I am now letting go of my personal desires and aspirations and now taking the team to a different direction, which is actually better for the team. The team will be stronger. Maybe some things will be later than expected, and you will have to manage that with the upper ranks, but it will be a better functioning mechanism. And most importantly, the leader will be in their inner world more at peace. So this really is very critical because it ties into the happiness side of things. Because many people come to me, they want to be successful, but they also want to be happy. And if they are not themselves, if they are somebody else trying to achieve something, at the end of the day, they are not in their own skin and they don't feel happy.
Mr. O'Neill, what specific practice do you recommend for leaders to develop a deep self awareness needed to recognize their own triggers and biases when under pressure?
Yeah. So there's two things. One is journaling and or meditation, and the second is external feedback. So why these two? Knowing ourselves is important, But knowing ourselves does not equal to good self-awareness. And when you can only go deeper to really understand your dynamics, and your self-awareness can only strengthen with that. But it is not enough. You need external information from people that you trust that will tell you, yes, you are doing it like that, but this is how it looks like from the outside. And so you need both internal and external practices to come together to make a stronger development practice.
In uncertainty, Mr. Anil, data can be incomplete or misleading. How do grounded leaders use their core values as a decision-making compass when the map is no longer reliable?
Yeah, so this is actually a very important question, and a very critical one. Not very easy to answer, because this falls into the realm of, at least in these areas, decision making. Now, decision makers are generally judged by how their decisions work after the fact. But actually, decisions have to be decided if they are good or bad in the moment, with whatever information the person had and what they had to do. Now, in terms of their values, it is very important that their values are aligned with their companies and corporate values. That is very critical. If it is not aligned, then the person will come to a place where, is it my values or is it my company values? And of course, that's a very big inner conflict. Now, if the company's values and the leader's values are aligned, and I have limited information, then, and if I have to make a decision, then I have to take myself out of the equation, as if I'm someone from outside. And because why? I have to leave all my biases, all my judgments, everything aside. Otherwise, it will not be a good decision. I will explain with an example. So let's say two people are making a presentation to the executive committee. The CEO is there and all the C-levels are there. Now, one person, he has been with the company, who is doing a presentation, an investment presentation, has been with the company for 10 years, is well known inside the company to do successful investment projects. The other person is not so well known, is more new in the company, maybe a year and a half. There's nothing wrong, or there's no bad reputation of this person. The second person's investment project is actually, according to the numbers, stronger. But research shows us that the executive committee and the CEO will generally choose the first person's investment project. Why? Because they are biased, or because they know the person, they feel more comfortable. So a good self-awareness, a good strong self-awareness, grounded leadership requires that if in that meeting I am I can catch myself leaning towards this investment project because I feel that comfort, I will say, oh, I am leaning towards this idea, this decision, but actually I think I need to park this, because this is just my way of person A and person B. I will just try to look at the facts and the numbers. So if that decision has to be made for that investment, this is why I mentioned external feedback to be very important. That's very, very valuable. You have to have the self-awareness to catch yourself and to let go of these biases.
How can leaders differentiate between healthy self doubt and the paralyzing voice of the inner critic? And what strategies help them to quiet the noise to access their wisdom,
Yeah,
Mr. Anil?
yeah. So, thank you. So this is also very important. This is where practices like journaling or mindfulness techniques or meditation will come into the picture. Because when you are having these thoughts, these feelings, these are emanating from your inner realities, your inner world. And so you have to go deeper and try to understand these. Why am I getting these? What is happening here? Actually, I said why, but why is not a good question. What is the good question? What is happening here? Am I feeling worrisome? Am I anxious? What is the nature of my worry? I have to dissect this. I will sit down, I will reflect, I will journal on it or meditate, try to understand where the dynamic is coming from. Is it coming from a sense of failure or sense of sometimes it's very interesting. Sometimes even a failure of success can even prevent leaders. Why? Because if they do become successful, they don't know how to handle it. So journaling and going deeper would be my go-to thing. So if I would go back to the corporate world, I already journal, but I would probably go deeper on my journaling practice.
Interesting and empowering answer, Mr. Anil. And in traditional command and control model, the leader has always the answer. How does grounded leadership empower others to step up and contribute solutions in the face of the unknown?
Yes, thank you. So in grounded leadership, if you recall at the beginning of our this program, I had mentioned about being aware of the external. So there is an anecdote from one of the CEOs in the US, and so they are doing a presentation to him, and he says, "Oh, have you considered like this factor?" And of course, everybody is like, "Oh, like they take this question as a order, as a command." And so once the presentation is over, whatever he asked, they change everything to that. And he's like, I didn't tell anybody to do this. Or why is everybody doing just because of a question? Well, it's because you have such an impact. So uh, knowing when to talk, knowing when not to talk, knowing when to intervene, when to make decisions, when to let people take the risks requires wisdom, because knowing and letting people do or giving the space for them to do is totally different things. And giving space is hard. Why? Because these leaders, they have come to a certain level, and of course they feel successful, they feel over the top, they feel they have the answers. So in order to let go of this, you need very high level maturity, very deep inner work, and of course self-awareness to say, okay, I might have the answer, but I think it's better if I let the team find this answer. If it starts to go in a bad way, I will intervene, but I will let them go their way. Um, Actually, this was one of the things that there was in the Spanish soccer league. I think it was Diego Simeone, and in the TV show, or he explains. So there was a game, and the team was like, "We should play like this. We should play like that." He said, "You're undermining the opponent. Like if you play like this, we're gonna, it's gonna be a problem." And they insist. He says, "Okay." So, And of course, they tie, so they lose points. But what happens is after that, they have now more trust for the leader. Why? Because the leader gave them opportunity, listened to them, trusted them, which is very critical, and saw that, okay, our leader has something valuable to give us. So next time we will probably, go his direction. But so not having all the answers is actually very, very important. It's just leadership becomes from doing to letting do in a safe space. You let do. You don't do. You let do.
Mr. Anil, before we wrap up our discussion for today, I'm inviting you to please do listen to my other podcast, people. My other podcast, because my abstract essay is already in fifth season, abstract poetry in second season, and my book 101 review in fifth season too. Comedy 101 in second season, and my food 101 in fifth season as well. Geography 101 in fourth season, and my baby podcast Law 101 and mental health 101. Love letters in third season, and movie 101 review, music 101 in fourth season, and Science 101 and Sex 101 in its first season. Please listen to them wherever you listen your podcasts. So, Mr. Anil, ultimately, what is the legacy of leaders who consistently lead from this place? What do they leave behind in the culture of their organization?
Yeah, they leave trust. Without trust, no leader can function. If you are a leader or you are trying to become a good leader, forming the trust and creating the safe space for your people is the fundamental thing to do. Once you have that, that creates an open space, clear space to have discussions, disagreements, but these will, because of the trust, if I trust you, I can disagree with you. So trust builds a very, very strong foundation. If I disagree with you, then we can have a discussion about what to do, and we can come to hopefully a very, very good, powerful solution to it. But if I don't trust the leader and the leader says something, even though I don't believe in him, I will do it, but I will probably not do it, believing it will not have the same energy. So after a while, if something problematic happens, I will be like, you told me to do it and I did it. So, but if the trust is there and we agree on a solution, I will wholeheartedly try to do that. And I will probably feel more accountable to the leader and to the organization. So that small difference creates a huge impact. So as leaders, if they can leave trust for their teams and culture, it would be the best thing.
Mr. Anil Erkan, thank you so much for sharing your knowledge and wisdom to the world. So can you please invite our listeners to support your business, your advocacy, or whatever projects that you're doing right now?
Yeah, I mean, so if anybody would like to work, they can book a discovery call, and that would be where we start. Thank you.
Yes, people, let's support Mr. Anil Erkan, because if you support him, for sure, more and more empowering leadership will arise. So, Mr. Anil, thank you so much for your time.
Thank you for having me.
Modicum people, see you soon.